Hello and welcome to PCSB and Beyond, where we talk with Providence College students whose studies take place both inside and outside the Ryan Center for Business Studies and discuss how this has impacted them both inside and outside the classroom. We're here today with current student Jack Downey. Thanks for joining us today, Jack. To kick things off, can you tell us a bit about yourself?
Sure, I'd be happy to. So my name is Jack Downey. I'm a current junior at Providence College. I'm about to enter my second semester of that year, and I'm very excited. I am from Hingham, Massachusetts. I graduated from Hingham High School back in 2019. And at Providence College, I'm a music technology and production major with a marketing minor. And I'm involved in various extracurriculars, including the Cowl and WDOM. And I intend to keep joining stuff as long as I'm at school until I physically can't anymore. So we'll see what the future holds.
Awesome. So, how did your combination of majors and minors come about? What made you decide on it?
Well, originally I wanted to double major in marketing and music, and I found out that I would have to stick around for extra semesters. So I ended up just picking the marketing minor, and then I transitioned from just a regular music major to the music technology and production major. So the reason that I combined the marketing minor with music technology and production major is because I'm in a lot of bands outside of PC as well. Some back home, some in Rhode Island. But either way, ever since high school, since I started doing this, I've had to learn how to market my music, market my bands, market the shows that I'm playing. So marketing is very heavily intertwined with the world of music. So I just figured that if I was going to make the most of my major, I was going to have to add that extra level of business knowledge to my degree.
Yeah, definitely. So I know you just touched upon this a bit, but would you like to elaborate any more on what you like about this combination?
Sure, yeah, I'd love to. I would say, well, first of all, I love music. Music has been my passion ever since probably middle school. Once they began offering the music technology and production major, that was a no-brainer for me to take because it has a practical use in the real world. I mean, technology is such a huge buzzword, really, no matter where you go. Even though music technology is very specific, really, it's teaching you how to use computers in all sorts of ways and how to use different technology. And you kind of have to learn how to do that on the fly. So it's a very useful skill to have. And then marketing is something that I've always been interested in because I mean, when I first started out, I was under the impression that it was a lot of like marketing campaigns, so commercials, flyers, things like that. And I realized I've only taken 2 courses in the minor so far, but through those courses, I learned that there's a lot more to marketing. It's just about how to read people, how to read shifts in society, how to read trends. And I think that's always really cool. I think it's very important, particularly as a musician. I think it's important to to stay on top of those things.
Yeah, definitely. So, what has studying both inside and outside the business school taught you? Do your business classes help you with your non business classes and vice versa?
Taking the business courses, especially I took buyer behavior or consumer behavior last semester, and I would say that that kind of helped even things out because I'm a junior, so I'm starting to take a lot of courses associated with my major. So I took a lot of music courses, and I think taking the marketing course kind of helped keep me grounded. Having the business course not only kind of gave me a break from all the music, but it also gave me information that I can use anywhere, no matter what I choose to do, whether it be for the major or for any of the extracurriculars that I do or anything going forward, really. I just think that it kind of helped add an extra dimension to my schedule that I wouldn't have had otherwise.
Yeah, awesome. So, how has this combination helped you outside the classroom? How has your program of study led you to any unique experiences or to consider a particular career?
So the first class I ever took was obviously Intro to Marketing, and I took that with Professor DeFonte. And I guess I did well enough in his class where him and I have actually stayed in touch. And he gives me contacts in both in the music industry and in other industries as well. And that's been very helpful. Him and I and 2 other students were actually talking about working on a entertainment marketing club. Having DeFonte as a contact has actually been very useful, and he's someone that I intend to keep talking to.
Awesome. So, looking forward to the future, how do you think studying both marketing and music might help with internships, careers, etc.?
For music, having the marketing background, as I mentioned with my bands, it helps promote things, which is promotion is such a huge buzzword in music because it's something that very few people actually know anything about. Knowing how to market and knowing how to promote really anything, whether it be a music business or a band or a venue, anything, it's a very useful skill to have. It's just a matter of knowing what you're doing. And I think if venues or booking agents or really anybody in the music industry sees that I have this business experience, it just gives me an extra leg up on top of my passion for music. Because again, a lot of passionate people in music don't really know a lot about business completely. And on the other hand, having a music degree, I think, gives me an advantage in a business sense or really any other industry because it's a unique perspective because it teaches you a different way to think. I went into the music program not actually knowing that much about music. I went in just enjoying playing guitar and making music and all that, which is great. But what college has taught me is just how to read music, how to write music, how to understand music. And this is stuff I knew nothing about going into freshman year. By the end of freshman year, I had a pretty solid grasp on it. So I was pretty much, it was almost like another language. And I was able to understand it in less than a year, which just indicates, I think, a certain capacity for learning that I think can translate into any industry really. And like trying to work business into my music, it's given me a unique perspective in terms of how to market things, how to deal with money, teaches me how to make connections. Music and just being in a band in general has given me a lot of business experience. So hopefully, again, hopefully I can convey that in an interview because there will probably be some people, if I don't go into a music related job, who are like, oh, you studied music, like how's that gonna translate to our job? Because it seems on the surface to be a very niche interest, but as I just said, there's a lot of other criteria that goes into being a successful musician that can really, the skills of which can be translated into really any job.
Yeah, definitely. So, one final question for today. What do you think are the benefits of combining business and non business studies?
So much of the modern world deals with business that I think you need to have a little bit of knowledge on how that works. Like specific to Providence, you have all these amazing programs. And if you're only choosing to study one, I think there's so much else you could add to that. It's very useful to study other things. If you go out of school, you have the business experience, but you also have experience in something else that makes you stand out. So I think like business is a very important thing to learn, but it also needs to be somewhat tempered with something else. If somebody has a more well-rounded education, it just opens so many more doors.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Jack.
No, thank you so much for having me.